If you've been listening to the pod, you know I'm marking my calendar for the big sale from Last Bottle Wines, one of our wonderful sponsors. If you don't already know, they're a Napa-based online wine shop that offers 30 to 70% off retail. And the best part, there's no subscriptions, no fees, and no minimum purchase, just a daily email with really great wine. And as I mentioned, they're having a massive sale. Their marathon sale is coming up on March 28th and 29th. They flip that one wine per day rule on its head and instead offer back-to-back, two-back deals. That means wines are only up on the site for a couple minutes at a time. We got a preview order with the mini marathon package of some of their favorites, and I'm telling you, it's a sale you want to get in on. And the best part is we're offering Dateable listeners 10% off your first order with code DATEABLE. Sign up at lastbottlewines.com and use the code DATEABLE and find out why Last Bottle is the most fun way to discover and buy amazing wine. We are so thrilled to be partnering with Hinge. Hinge is the dating app designed to be deleted. As you all know, I'm a huge Hinge advocate as I met my partner of almost 3 years on the app. Even before meeting him, Hinge was always my go-to app because I met more relationship-minded people here and had some great dates. Clearly, I haven't been on the app for a little while, but I re-downloaded it to check out some of the new features. One that stood out to me was the voice prompt, my best friend's take on why you should date me, where your friend can hype you up. Not only does this make the profile creation less daunting, but it's not always easy to see your own green flags. So to test it out, I asked Yue some fun prompts to get her take on what I could put if I was dating again. So the first one, how long have we known each other? What was your first impression of me and how has that changed?
Julie and I have known each other for almost 10 years. My first impression of Julie was that she's very social, but I've learned that she has a lot more depth to her beyond the social butterfly that she is.
My next prompt, what do you think are my green flags?
I would say she's deeply loyal. She believes in love, curious mindset, and she is fearlessly ambitious.
And then last but not least, what kind of friend am I?
Julie is the kind of friend who will always have your back, no matter what.
Damn, that feels nice to hear. So download Hinge and try voice prompts today. Then find someone worth deleting the app for.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating sociologists.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to the Dateable Podcast. Dateable friends, welcome to Brunch Talk, where we will dissect all of your dating questions to the point where you cannot dissect it anymore. That's how far we go. That's how detailed we get with all your burning dating questions.
Love dissecting. So much fun. It's my hobby.
Just call us dating surgeons. We operate on your questions.
That should be our new thing. Get rid of sociologists. We're dating surgeons.
Just call us doctors.
We did not go to med school. It's okay.
Oh, you're a doctor? What's your field? Dating.
Doctor of love.
Yes, doctor. We have a PhD in love, okay? An MD and a PhD, a DDS and a DO and an MS. All of it.
This is a little off topic, but back in the day, Yue and I did an epic video shoot called The Decorator. Mm-hmm. So go see that. But we had a great improv scene by a former guest and Yue's friend, that he was the expert and he had his DDS as well as many other credentials.
DO and PhD, MS, all of it, CPA. It's pretty great. But back to this question, I guess, that we're going to dissect. So the question is, what constitutes as cheating?
And we got this in through Instagram. And more context is, my boyfriend of 3 months recently told me that he went to a strip club, and I feel utterly disgusted. Am I wrong to feel this way? Does this count as cheating?
We think that cheating is very black and white when there are blurred lines. And I find that through personal experience, you and your partner need to get on the same page when it comes to where that line is drawn. I don't know what your relationship is like, so that conversation about strip clubs, probably not something you think about talking about like in early dating. On a first date, you're probably not like, do you go to strip clubs often? And do you think that's cheating? But times like this is an opportunity to ask for more information and also to express the fact that you were not very comfortable with it.
I feel like there is the clear black and whites, like you were saying. If you're in a monogamous relationship, if you have sex with someone or even kiss someone, I don't know, kissing, I guess, could even potentially be on the line,
Yeah.
depending. But I could at least see that being more straightforward because there's something physical with it. The interesting part is this gray area where there's like these micro cheating instances. And I think this one falls into that. I could also see like someone liking like sexy Instagram posts that kind of falls in there too.
Yeah.
And I think with some of these ones, oftentimes you don't know until you experience it, like how it's going to impact you. I wouldn't say this was cheating unless you explicitly had a conversation and said strip clubs count as cheating. That being said, it doesn't mean that it's not an opportunity for you to have a conversation of what this meant for you, what this means for your partner, and what it brings up for the two of you. And how do you get to a resolution? And it might not be like him saying, I'll never go to a strip club again. That might not be realistic. And you have to figure out, like, what are you willing to take with this? And then what is a complete deal breaker for you? And only you know what the line is on those.
The good news is he told you that he went to one.
Yes.
If he felt like he was doing something shady, he probably wouldn't have told you. So in his eyes, that was not cheating for him. Again, it's an opportunity to talk about where that line is drawn. I had an ex who believed that if you pay for something, it's not cheating. So he was very into paying for sex, going to strip clubs, paying for companionship, did not see that as cheating. Some relationships may be able to tolerate that. I was not cool with it. But also at the same time, he didn't tell me any of this until after I found out. So that says a little bit about what he thought he was doing. Like, he knew he was being shady. But in your situation, again, the good news is at least he told you. So now you can both just become more honest about how you truly feel about this situation.
Yeah. And I think there's also a validity in your feelings too. Like, you can feel hurt or even disgusted is the term you use. Like, you can't feel that way. Like, we're never going to say, like, you can't feel how you feel. But your partner probably also feels a certain way about it. And it's up to you two to rectify what that means for your relationship.
The strip club thing is a little bit murky, and I totally get it, because did he go by himself? Like, is that weird if he just goes by himself? But is it even weirder if he goes with a bunch of dudes?
Right.
But is it really weird if he goes with some co-ed friends? Like, there's just so many different levels. And did he go at night? Did he go during lunch? Like I often went in San Francisco to Gold Club.
You loved it.
I love Gold Club. Gold Club was my favorite strip club in San Francisco. They had a $5 buffet for lunch, and you could just—
Did he just go for the chicken?
I just go for the best fried chicken in San Francisco. And they always brought out their JV team to dance during lunch. And so it's like, really, it's a fun time. But again, it's like, what was his purpose in going? That's also good to know, like the intentionality behind it too.
I think there's also a difference of it making you uncomfortable and being a point of contention that you need to discuss for your relationship, and it being cheating in the sense of like someone doing something behind your back or, misleading you in a way. So getting clear of like what it actually is for you might be the first step. Like, did you have an actual conversation on this? The fact that he even told you is a good sign that he wasn't trying to necessarily mislead you on it. But again, only you know with your relationship. I'm curious, Yue, like in situations like you mentioned, like with your ex that went to strip clubs, but also like hired like people for sex, like if they had just gone to strip clubs, would have been cheating to you, or was there a line for you?
I didn't, and I still don't mind the strip clubs thing. I would much more prefer to go to a strip club with my partner than have him go with his friends or have me join them. So that I don't mind, but it's the fact that he didn't tell me. I think that's where the deception was. And only reason why I found out was because I saw the text messages and the bills being paid. So that's not a good feeling when your partner's hiding something from you.
Yeah.
What do you think about the actual act of your partner going to a strip club?
I mean, I think for me, it falls into similar to like watching porn for me. I don't feel like it's
Mm,
cheating, it's doing something that's necessarily like against me, but there is something about it that feels like a little icky to me. And I know some of it's not even justified, but it's just like a feeling I have. So I get where this listener is coming from. That being said, it's not like the reason why someone's going to a strip club or watching porn is because of you necessarily either. A lot of times it's stuff they've been doing for years prior to meeting you.
yes.
So I've had to like also separate some of that too, that it's not like it actually has zero to do with me because there's something a little, I don't know, this is where at least my head goes. I'm sure everyone goes somewhere different, but it's like, oh, do you need that anymore now that you're in a relationship?
Mm.
Because like you have someone. I don't think it's always that straightforward for people.
It really isn't. I've gone to plenty of strip clubs with my guy friends who are married and have girlfriends or whatnot. And they're just like, I love looking at a sexy woman where I don't know her name, I don't know her backstory, and I know that I'm not taking her home. There's just like
Yeah.
something really exciting about that. And then you know you're going to go home to your wife or your girlfriend. So they can separate the two. But I also know people who go to strip clubs and actually try to pick up on the strippers.
Right.
That's not cool. So there's always a line there, and you got to figure out where the line is drawn. And this conversation needs to be had. Like, you feeling uncomfortable about your partner having that icky feeling
Yeah.
about your partner going to a strip club needs to be said out loud to him.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's where the challenge is coming from, is that you feel uncomfortable. The action is making you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And maybe just hearing them out will not make you feel as uncomfortable anymore. Maybe that's enough, or maybe it's not enough. And this is a conversation the two of you need to have further. We're pretty sure, like, if someone is in a committed relationship with you, they don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. That's not the intention. Not to say that it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. It certainly can. But the only way to understand where they're coming from is to share that. Even if you feel like it feels stupid, or everyone goes to strip clubs, or everyone watches porn, everyone likes people's like sexy Instagram model photos on Instagram. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, like, you need to share that. Before we keep going, I want to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors.
This episode is sponsored by Via. We all know there are things that can help set the mood in the bedroom, but did you know a little THC could also do that? Yes, Via has developed a unique blend of pleasure-enhancing cannabinoids, libido-strengthening herbs, and a low dose of THC all into one mind-blowing gummy called High Love. This gummy, wow, it will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, and intensify any sexual experience. I've been pleasantly surprised by the High Love gummies because it is just the right amount of THC for me to have a good time without feeling sleepy. And hey, if THC is not your thing, Via also offers a wide array of other gummies without it. And everything legally ships in 50 states with discreet packaging directly to your door. So if you're over 21, you can get 15% off and a free pack of award-winning Dreams THC plus CBN sleep gummies with our exclusive code DATEABLE at viahemp.com. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Let the gummies work their magic. Head to viahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE to receive 15% off and one free sample of their Sleepy Dream gummies. That's viahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout. Take your passion and pleasure to a whole new level with High Love from Via Hemp.
Living with ADHD can be a challenge, and dating with ADHD is definitely a challenge, we've heard many of you say. But finding the right care and proper tools needed to succeed can be life-changing. Done is an online ADHD care platform that can get you all the resources you need to help manage your ADHD. Online visits, refills, and a 24/7 care team made for you. In just 1 minute, Done's online assessment can help kickstart your ADHD treatment journey. With experienced clinicians, worry-fill refills, and online visits, you can start getting personalized care as soon as today or tomorrow. So contact an expert team that can help you around the clock and get a personalized treatment plan just for you. Here's how you do it. Take a free 1-minute assessment and book an appointment with a licensed ADHD clinician as soon as the next day. Get continuous care, one-click refills, insurance coverage, and 24/7 care team support with Done for just $79 a month, and pharmacy copays as low as $0. Visit get.done.com get.donefirst.com/podcast to learn more. That's get.donefirst.com/podcast to learn more. Done. Turn ADHD into your strength.
This episode is made possible by Armoire. Armoire makes getting dressed easy. With a clothing rental membership from Armoire, build the perfect wardrobe with brands that are high quality, unique, and recommended just for you. All you have to do is take a 5-minute style quiz and select items from your dynamic, personalized closet. The styles show up at your door in as little as 2 days. Then when you're ready for new clothes, just swap them out. Listen, I live in Southern California. There is absolutely no need for puffer coats or any sort of those winter jackets. But when I travel anywhere else in the world in these cold months, I'm often burdened with the task of getting winter clothes. And now with Armoire, I can just rent my winter wardrobe. It's brilliant. Right now, our listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 50% off their first month. That's up to $125 off. Just visit armoire.style/dateable. That is armoire.style, spelled ARMOIRE.style/DATEABLE to get up to 50% off your first month and never worry about what to wear again. Try Armoire today.
So I'm curious, Yue, like what your thoughts are on the Instagram models, like people liking sexy photos on Instagram. Because I feel like this one falls in the same camp for me, is that like it's technically not cheating, but there's something about it that feels icky to me.
It's more triggering for me just because I found the DMs of my most current ex, messaging. I mean, she wasn't an Instagram model, but like that was how their relationship developed, was over Instagram DM. So Instagram is such a dangerous place because it's just so easy. People are so accessible. And that's where I worry about. If you're just admiring their photos, I'm also like, do you really need to follow them? Or do you actually need to like them? Can you just look at them?
Like them in your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you need them to know that you are validating them?
Yeah.
Like, is that really important to you? So I would still want to have that conversation too. I haven't had that experience yet, but I do know that it wouldn't make me feel very good to know that my partner was like scrolling on Instagram, looking at these models and liking their photos.
Yeah, I think it kind of falls into like webcam stuff too, like all that area, or like OnlyFans. Like if you had a partner that was, I don't know, spending all their time talking to someone on webcam, I feel like there is something that would feel like off to me on that.
For sure.
But again, like I'm not sure if it's technically cheating, but yeah, like I think maybe it comes back to like, are they hiding it from you? I don't know.
Yes.
This is such a gray area though, because I could see someone hiding it because they're like embarrassed, maybe not because they're like trying to mislead you, but I would feel like they were because they weren't telling you.
Yeah, maybe it's the interaction part that I have a problem with. Because it's like, I know that if I'm out with my partner and he's going to find other people attractive and he'll probably check them out.
Right.
But there's a difference between checking them out and then going up to them being like, hey, you're hot. You're like in front of me.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I would not be cool with that. I don't think anybody would be cool with that. So I think it's the interaction part, like the webcam stuff. Do you actually need them to respond back to you, to know your name? If you need attention from these webcam girls or Instagram models, then we got to figure out our relationship. Something's definitely missing in our relationship.
Right. I would never like want to tell someone how they can like live their life if that's something they felt was like so important to them. But I feel like there's a big but here. I feel like I would also like lose respect, right? And once like respect is lost,
yes,
that's the other element. Even if it's not cheating, you need to respect your partner. So if you foundationally do not respect someone or feel the ick towards someone that's like going out to strip clubs every week,
yes,
that's something you guys need to figure out, because it's not going to feel good if you're just like harboring that.
Yes. But the word you use is key, is foundationally. When you're building the foundation in your first few months of dating, like our listener who wrote in, you're in your early stages of your relationship. I think an important question to ask is, what are some of your habits that you've built single
Yeah.
that we should address now that we're in a partnership?
Yeah. It's like one of those things. I feel like it's easier just to pretend like people didn't have past and don't ever think about this stuff, but it can come up to bite you. You know, I think the first step for this listener is to have a conversation of, this is how it made me feel. Don't put blame. I wouldn't go there to start it off. It's more of just like, you know, look, like you have been doing your thing, but just wanted to share, like, this is how it made me feel. I know we've never discussed this before. Again, not putting blame on it. But you do need to level set of like what constitutes as cheating for you. Because if you don't have that conversation, it's always going to be like, is this too much? Is this not too much? Like there has to be some lines in the sand that you either say, okay, I accept this for this person, or they say, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Foster that safe space. Definitely acknowledge the fact that they told you.
Yeah.
And appreciate them for that. You know, I really appreciate you for telling me this. And I hope that we continue to be open and honest with each other, and then go into, you know, where you're feeling uncomfortable, but also couch this in the fact that you're really into them.
Yeah.
You know, like, this makes me feel insecure and I'm so into you. I want to feel really securely attached to you. So it's always coming from a place of good intentions.
These are just so tricky because everyone has a different definition of how much this is something they want in their life. And you just need to be with someone that you can feel compatible with. And ultimately, you two need to create the rules for your relationship. That's what it is. So like, figure out where your thresholds lie and what works for the two of you.
But more importantly, thanks for sending in that question. It's a great question. I'm sure many people have encountered especially in early stages of dating. Keep sending those questions in. You can either email us, hello@dateablepodcast.com, or you can DM us on Instagram @dateablepodcast as a handle. Or the best way to get your question in is to give us a rating and review in Apple Podcasts. Just hit 5 stars, and in the body of the review, ask your question there. So simple. And then when we see it, we just push it up to the front of the queue and we'll answer it right away.
Awesome. Well, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
The Dateable Podcast is part of the Frolic Media Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram @dateablepodcast and visit dateablepodcast.com for access to all the episodes and our premium programs. Also, make sure to subscribe today if you haven't already on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform, so you are the first to get all the latest episodes. And most importantly, stay dateable.